All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of What Drives You. I am one of your co-hosts, Stan Windhorn. With me, as always, is my good buddy and co-host, Carl Bauer. Carl, hello,
Happy
hello.
Happy New Year, everybody, and thanks everybody for joining. I think this is going to be episode number 98, Stan, 99. We're getting close to 100, so excited to
Yeah.
hear. Yeah, yeah,
That's
excited to hear.
congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alex. Yeah, I want to introduce our guest, and then I'm going to give a little background wise here. But first of all, magician extraordinaire, businessman extraordinaire, Alex Ramon. Alex, thank you so much. It's so nice of you to take time out of your busy day to be with us.
Thank you. It's a blast. And to be close to episode 98, 99. If I would have known, I would have said no until I was 100, That's
Held out to 100. I know, man. Well, we can have you back on. I got to tell you, Alex, some of my favorite episodes we've done have been with people in the entertainment industry. In fact, you know one of them, my good friend David Hamner, who's also an illusionist in Branson.
yeah.
But
Great guy. Great guy.
yeah, so I want to talk about a couple of things, and then I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
So I have been an enthusiast of magic pretty much since I was a little kid. I have been I've worked with magicians and illusionists on a professional basis, including David Hamner, and working on his show and everything.
Yeah.
And so when I go to a show like yours, I go in there probably with a little bit of a different eye than someone who's just coming in to get entertained. I want to see, even though I may understand how some of the things are being done or whatever, it's still always great to see how people do it. And so I got a couple of compliments I want to throw your way. First of
Okay,
all,
good, good. I was going to say I was ready for some notes.
no, no, not really notes, but again, coming from someone who kind of knows the industry a little bit, these are some of my observations. First of all, is MJ with you on your
Yeah,
lap right now?
he's right here. MJ's
So
always, every time I do a podcast, MJ has to be lying in my lap. Oh, look, oh my gosh, what a
uh,
sleepy puppy.
he's
Look at
ready to go. Well, he's
Oh,
MJ.
saving his energy for the show.
Yeah,
So
we
I
have a
really
show
love the
tonight.
way that you incorporate MJ, and I think it's one of the things that makes your show a little bit different, is having something like that. So congratulations on MJ. But the compliment that I want to start off with is I was so impressed with the way that you interact with the audience is really different and great, like I've never really seen before. And I think you kind of told me something about that. That's a conscious effort on your part, is to really get that audience. I mean, they truly become part of the show.
Yeah, a modern audience really seeks out the crowd work and those bits that you're doing with the audience, interacting with them and engaging with them. And I think from years past and decades past now, the old style production show where the magician is this mystical character and he doesn't speak or he seems very untouchable. A modern audience isn't into that. And it doesn't mean that it certainly cannot work. It means
Yeah.
that most audiences crave and want that connection. It's no different than, hey, you can tweet at your favorite NBA star and they could respond back. This connection, this accessibility to the performer on stage is so much more relevant today in a modern audience than, let's say, from years past where the performer was very separated from
Yeah.
the audience and from their fans. And so that is
Well,
a conscious
especially for an
effort.
illusionist.
Right, right.
There's different kinds of magic, but for an illusionist, most of the time you expect that guy to be up on stage, like you say, and he's kind of removed. And
Mhm.
I don't want to say dancing around, but it's not that thing. So you've really combined that bigger stage show, that
Yeah.
illusion type of a show, with more of the parlor, even close up kind of an interaction with the audience. And I was super impressed by that.
Thank you. And I mean, I really do appreciate, and that's a huge compliment because something that I do every night is I try and see the audience that I'm given, the cards that I'm dealt, right? My audience that I'm given every night is different. And my
Sure.
job is to not just perform, but to pull out the special moments in that particular audience on that particular night. And it won't be the same every night. It just can't be. In fact, just last night, I had a man named Richard who helped me with this routine, and he was just very funny. And I brought him on stage. And then this morning, when I was walking MJ, I ran into him. And I'm walking MJ, and he
Mm,
goes, "Hey, Alex." And I was just like, "Hey, don't talk to me. Stay away," kind of fun bantering with the audience. And that's something that they
yeah,
loved and he enjoyed as well, because now the show just came, it went beyond the time that they were in the theater with me, is that I have those special interactive moments that they felt compelled to say hi. "Oh, we just saw your show," or "There's MJ," or something. And I think that the customer journey and the experience of the audience, it's all related. And that just amplifies the experience, which for me, the most important thing is that I have audiences coming back year after year after year. The best customer is a repeat customer. And when you
sure.
create those special moments for your audience, they want to come back time and time again. And so that is absolutely vital to my show and the success of my show and what I've had being in Tahoe for so many years.
Yeah.
We
So
had
just so everybody knows, I'm sorry, Carl, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, Alex, we had well, two quick things. When Stan saw we were walking through the casino and through Harrah's, and he saw magician starting in like 10 minutes, the childlike aura that came over him, and there was no pulling. I'm like, Stan, I'm not trying to spend because I wasn't prepared. I'm like, you go for it, buddy. And he was just gone, and I didn't see him for the next 2 hours because he was in your program. But back to your interaction and the experience, we went to Joe Rogan's comedy club last night here in Austin,
Oh, yeah.
and the best two or three performers did exactly what you do. They engaged, like they broke away from their routine and their pitch and got customer. I mean, it was so fun to see these people just in real time get creative. It's so brilliant, brilliant strategy, and it definitely
Yeah.
important in modern
It,
times.
it
You know,
definitely.
it's funny you say that, Carl, because I was thinking the same thing about some of the better performers we saw last night and their ability to adjust what they were doing and the jokes that they could come up with based on what that person in the audience was saying. And Alex does that great. But here's my question for you on that, Alex. Like just you remembered every person's name,
Yeah.
which you're in the middle of doing all this stuff. You're having to keep the show going. You got to make sure everything's going well. There's a lot to it, and obviously you know what you're doing, but the ability to remember not just the person's name, but the funny thing about them that they said. Like when I was there, there was one lady you kept going back to, going, "Didn't I kick you out of this show once or twice already?" But is that a skill set to be able to remember those things in the midst of doing a show? Is that something you had to develop? Is that just who you are naturally?
Wow, that is a really great question. And the answer is both. It is a skill set. It is a skill set to be able to recall, especially when you're performing and I'm presenting and I'm doing the show. Like I'm in the middle of a show and I have other things going on. And in a magic show, I've not given much away by saying there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that the audience is not aware of that
Sure.
has to happen in order to accomplish the magic. But it is a skill set. But more importantly, the skill set is being present. And when
Mm,
you're actually present with your audience, it doesn't take a lot to remember their name. So, for example, Carl, we just met, right? But I know your name is Carl. Why? Because we're here, we're communicating, and I'm present. I'm going, "Oh, hey, Carl is hosting with Stan, and we're on his podcast." It's not hard for me to remember your name. In the course of this conversation, I'm not going to go, what was your name again? You know what I mean? And so, in the show, the ability for an entertainer or a performer to be present with their audience is it only comes from experience and doing thousands and thousands of shows that you can perform so much that you're really there with them. And I'm experiencing the show with them. I'm not just doing it for them. I'm experiencing it with them. It's happening together. And in order to get to that level, in order to get to that point where you're that comfortable on stage, I just had a friend of mine last night ask me, she goes, "Do you ever get, nervous before a show?" And I was like, "No, never." Why? It's because I've literally done probably close to 10,000 shows in my career. I'm only
yeah.
40. Okay. I'm 40 years old and I have literally performed close to 10,000 shows in my career. In one year, I was doing over 400 shows a year. And so, in that way, it builds so much that the experience and one of the, you might know this name, Lance Burton. One of the conversations I've had with Lance Burton is I remember talking to him and saying, man, when you're performing on stage and you're producing the doves and the cards, you're not even looking at your hands. You're not looking down at all. You're just staring at the audience. And I go, man, must have rehearsed so much. And Lance, I'll never forget this because it wasn't the answer I was expecting, but it was a fantastic answer. And he said, well, after I've done it 1,000 times, I'm bored with what I'm doing. So I'm looking at the audience to see what they're
Hmm.
doing. And it's
That's a
just
great
so
answer.
real. But so that's the thing. It is a desire to connect with my audience. And that's something that I speak on. I mean, I'm hired by companies to and keynote speak on the customer journey, the customer experience, and how to connect and be intentional with your customers. And because that's what I do with my audience. And so it's so relevant the fact that you've noticed that from a lens where you're going, hey, I experienced a show, and this is something that's different in your magic show than others. And it's so important to me. So, yes, I do feel strongly about that. And that is me as my character, as my person. I want my audience to feel connected to me, but also it's a skill set that has been developed after thousands of shows and literally performing for millions of people and interacting one on one with thousands of people that happens on a nightly basis for me.
Yeah, I think it's great. And like I kind of said before, I am looking at someone's shows like yours from a different lens, not just because I'm a magic enthusiast and all that kind of stuff, but I've been a performer. I did almost a 17-year run at playing the lead speaking role at a place called Medieval Times. Uh,
Yes, I
and
love it.
and
I have questions for
yeah,
you.
well, it's a lot of fun, but I also and Carl, this is kind of how he and I had met through the automotive industry, but I've got a little bit of a reputation as a sales trainer and motivator and stuff like that. And some of the things that you just said make sense. In fact, when I would train other trainers, I believe in a script, but never sounding scripted. But if you know what you're doing, if you don't have to think about kind of like what you said with Lance Burton, who I thought was fantastic, by the way, he did a good job too of doing the big illusion guy thing, but then when he would talk to the audience, he related well, and I thought that was part of his charm. But anyway,
Definitely.
by doing it and knowing what you're doing, you don't have to think about what you're doing at that moment. You can pay attention to what's going on around you and the people that you're working with, and that's something that I've always kind of promoted, and maybe that's why it stood out for me so much. Is it's something that I kind of preach. But yeah, you do a great job with it.
Yeah, I a lot of businesses and people that are entrepreneurs or small business owners, when they ask me and they say, how do you connect with your audience? How are you connecting? Whether there's 700 people, 1,000. And when I toured with Ringling Brothers Circus, I performed at Madison Square Garden. There's 15,000 people per show. And if you're doing close-up magic
Rush.
one-on-one, it's like the real skill is being genuine. Again,
Yeah.
being present and genuine. And that's it's like not a secret. It's like that's what it is. How do you know that? How do you connect with your audience? Because I'm literally
Well,
talking
I
to you, Carl. I'm literally talking to you, Stan. I'm literally we're having a
yeah.
conversation. It's not an act. Yes, I'm performing. But, and again, you can only get that comfortable on stage with the experience and doing it thousands of times.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're thinking about what you're doing. You're trying to make sure that you don't mess up or this trick happens. I don't go out thinking that. I never think like, oh, I hope this trick. We had an issue. I'll tell you. We had something that happened. It's kind of funny, actually. Um, on my opening, so we had to move my theater. So I was in at Caesars Republic is where my residency is, but Harrah's and Caesars Republic are sister properties, and they're doing
Right.
construction on Caesars Republic right now. So they're shutting down water and power and lights over my theater. So they have to move me across the street for the next couple months. And so no problem. But we go over there, we tech everything, and my first illusion is with a light bulb. And I have a light bulb in a socket, and I twist the bulb, and the bulb comes on. Well, the first night, the show, we're performing, we tech, we do everything. Yep, got it. And then come the audience, the show begins. I go to twist the light bulb, and there's no power. And we're just like, And I like look off stage and they're like, what? And I go, and I just kind of walk off stage and like, is this plugged in? And they go, oh my gosh, we were using a different power source in tech and now we have to plug here. And so I just kind of
Yeah.
laugh and I go, all right. And I walk back out on stage from the audience. I go, we're going to try that again, like take two. And I was like, sometimes, we didn't have power. We didn't have electricity. Let's try all these lights, all these fancy things. Let's do it again. And then I made a joke of it. I went right into my line and so I repeated myself, what the audience found humorous because they know that I'm just starting over. And then when I screwed the light bulb in and it lit up, they were like, yeah, and it's like, here's
Or
a real moment. Here's a real
yeah.
moment. And you don't need to hide those things. But and my if I was younger earlier in my career when I was a younger performer, if that would have happened, I would have freaked out. I would have been like, oh my gosh, we don't have power. And I would try and be like sly about it and be like, connect to power. And I'm thinking that there's a pressure from the audience after perform. It's like, no, I'll just walk off stage for a second, talk to them, say, oh, can you fix that? Why don't you plug that in? Try that here. Are we good? Okay. And then I'll walk back out for the audience. And so it is very funny to see the evolution and the confidence and the experience pay off, when real moments like that happen. And that happens
Sure.
nightly on live entertainment.
So I just want to be clear. I saw you at Harrah's, but normally you're across the street.
Yeah, so my residency is at Caesars Republic. I'm in a nice
Okay.
cabaret there. It seats about 240. And I've been there for 4 years. But Harrah's has a bigger showroom, seats about 700, 750.
Yeah.
And in the Tahoe market, I do shows 5 to 6 nights a week. So no one in Tahoe is selling, 3,500, 4,000 tickets a week.
Right.
We do about, we have about 1,000, 1,250 tickets available every week. And so we sell within that range, obviously, but this is just a bigger venue, which is fine. I mean, we still had a nice audience and it's great over there. The
Yeah.
show looks great, looks fantastic. It's just that my normal residency is at Caesars Republic and not Harris.
Okay, cool. So how soon will you be back there just in case people want to come and see you? I mean,
Well,
there's a
I'm
lot
in
of
like
advertisement for you so they can find you if they get
Yeah,
there. But
yeah. I am in Lake Tahoe 9 months of the year, and I have a show there 5 to 6 nights a week. And my peak, I do summers and winters, and then I take some maybe 6 weeks off in the spring, 6 weeks off in the fall. And I'm at Caesars Republic, but right across the street, connected by a tunnel, is
yeah.
Harrah's Lake Tahoe. So I'm either one of those properties. And so I think we're actually discussing me doing a summer run at Harrah's because it's a
Okay.
bigger venue. We could do some bigger magic, bigger illusions, and the audience loves it over there. So either way, I am in Lake Tahoe 9 months of the year. So if you get to the lake, come
They'll
say
find
hi.
you.
It
All
Yeah.
right.
was
Well, there's a
funny.
couple of really cool things I want to talk about. Go ahead, Carl. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, buddy.
Well, it was funny, Alex, because the next night we had left. We went to eat at what's that burger place, Stan? Um,
Lucky
Um,
Beaver.
Beaver.
Lucky Beaver, yeah.
Yeah. So we ate there, had an amazing meal, watched the game. We left, we walked across the street, and we walked in, and then there was your poster again. And I'm like, Stan, you want to go round two? Because I think we're across the street, or maybe it was just guiding us. But he
Yeah.
almost went
Yeah, there's
again.
advertisements for both places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. I
Well,
get to advertise on two properties. That's good.
yeah.
that's good. All right. Well, there's some things that I want to ask you about again, kind of your business, how you
Okay.
got here and all that. But I want to talk about a couple of magic tricks real
Sure.
quick because I enjoy that. First of all, really loved your rope routine.
Thank you.
As a amateur, I do the Professor's Nightmare. Is that the right name of it?
Yes, yes. No, that's
Which
right. That's right.
which is part of yours, and then of course you take it to a whole nother thing. So I was very impressed with your rope routine. But I got to tell you, man, that last thing you do when you do the cards with the projector on your hands,
The piano deck.
freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Freaking awesome. And I think it's also a wise choice to end your show because that was super impressive, man. I was
Thank
very,
you.
very impressed with that trick or
That
tricks.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the piano deck is how I've closed my show for the past 5 years. And the amazing thing is that I'm doing sleight of hand magic that's live video feed projected. So you just see my hands and you really can absorb and be able to see the technical skills that are involved in doing this kind of magic. And people love it. And it is a display of skill and it's so amazing. But more importantly, is that in that routine, because of the story that I tell, it resonates with people. And people after my show, Carl, I'll tell you the story. After my show, they leave in tears and they'll come up to me and they say,
It
"It
is.
made me
It's a
cry at the end of the show."
yeah.
And the reason is because I talk about my Nana. My Nana was a musician. She played the piano, but she played the piano by ear, which means she couldn't read sheet music. She didn't know any of the keys. She didn't know any of the notes, but any song she heard, she could immediately play. And then as a kid, I would watch her play and her hands just float over the keys. It was beautiful. It was just so artistic. And I just was amazed watching her play just effortlessly. And I remember telling her, I was like, man, I wish that I could do that because at the time I was starting on sleight of hand magic and I was dropping the cards on the floor. I'm trying to spring them and they fall. And then I bend the card and my hands aren't strong enough yet. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just learning. And yet she's just like nothing. And I'm like, I wish that I could do that. And I wish that I could be an artist like you. You're just so good and it's just so easy. And I wish that I can be an artist like you. And she stopped playing as we were talking, and she said, well, you're an artist, but you don't have keys. You have cards.
Hmm.
So just play your song the way you know how.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And the truth of it is, I kind of just had that story. And then I was talking to my friend maybe 6 years ago, and I just told him that story. And he said, do you say that in your show? And I go, no, I don't. He goes, you need to put that story in your show. And I go, really? He's like, you really have to. My friend Harris the third, he said, you really need to put that story in your show. You need to tell people that. And I go,
Yeah.
okay. And I did. And I created this whole sleight of hand routine where at the end of this sleight of hand routine, the deck of cards turns into piano keys. And
Wow.
then there's a photo of
Carl,
me
it
and my
was really
daughter.
cool.
And then at the very end, there's a big surprise where I produce a baby grand piano on stage right where I was. And it just had this amazing impact on people because the story was so relevant. And it's me telling people like, hey, you know what? I hope you leave a magic show feeling more inspired to accomplish your goals because you know what? You play your song the way you know how, because that's what I've been doing all night.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
really beautiful.
Stan is not impressed by many things, and the first thing he said to me when he walked out of there was, "Carl, you cannot believe this last uh, trick that he did," and just told me that a very smaller version and
Sure.
not as first person. But yeah, so it must be amazing. So it's on. You're on my list now,
Yeah, well,
There
when
you
you guys
go.
coming back to Tahoe, you know?
Uh, I'm
soon.
just glad my knees made it through that. I hadn't been skiing a long time, but Carl had this timeshare there. We went up there. But yeah, I'll tell you, as much as I like illusions and everything, for me, the most impressive stuff is sleight of hand, things
Right.
you can do right in front of people, and you married those two things really well using the projector and everything. But yeah, I was super impressed with that. So
Thank you. Thank you.
there
Yeah,
you
people
go. All
really
right,
like that. People really like that. Yeah, let's
let's
talk.
talk business a little bit.
All
So you've
right.
got innovative imprints behind you. You just shared with us that in addition to being a magician, you're also a businessman and you have your own embroidery company. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so right now I'm in my office at Innovative Imprints. We do custom screen print and embroidery, anything custom branded, really. I mean, we can do custom branded water bottles. And if you notice, my office is kind of separated between magic over here and business over here. So here are my
Hmm.
marketing books, here are my business books, and some of the clients that we've
I
served.
love the upside down books too. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. And the floating bookshelves. And then over here, we got the Magic, MJ, the Golden Doxy, and then a few Magic books right there. And so, anyhow, and this is actually one of the shirts. This is one of my shirts. So we printed this, the Dog Park shirt. And actually, this is the original concept drawing. This is the original sketch of the Dog Park illusion that we performed to win the TV show Penn and Teller Fool Us. And this is the
Yeah.
original sketch. And then we put it on a tee, a baseball tee, and on the back of the shirt, it says Fooler with MJ's potograph. And we sell these after the show. And I got to tell you, this shirt is my best seller. And we sold enough of these shirts that I ended up buying my vendor. And so he was
Oh,
this man had this shop for years and years in Carson City, Nevada, not too far from Lake Tahoe. And he was retiring. And then I bought the company from him a couple years ago. And so I print all of my gear. In fact, all of the gear that you see at Lucky Beaver when you first walk in, and there's these shirts and hats on the side, we print and do all of those that work for Lucky Beaver. Um, Cody Sanchez is a very, very popular business woman. She does has a mastermind and a community of entrepreneurs who want to purchase small businesses called Contrarian Thinking. And it really is an amazing program. And I've been in it for several years now. And with her advice and with the support of the Contrarian Thinking community, I was able to purchase this company. And so now we're here. Not only do I make a business by providing the service for other people, but I print my own gear, which is so
yeah.
nice. So,
Helps the profit margin when you're doing it
yeah,
yourself, cutting out the
but
middleman.
also it's so much quicker because when I sell out of my MJ beanies or MJ hats or whatever, I just go over to the girls. I'm like, hey, I need some more beanies. And they're like, tomorrow, here they are, pick them up. And I'm like, nice. So it's
Well,
fantastic.
I really want to talk about the Penn and Teller thing,
Yeah.
but before we do that, this was another thing that I really wanted to give you some props on, and I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Uh, so you do a pitch for your gear that people could come and buy, but
Mhm.
Carl, Alex is so gracious and like come on out here and say hello. And I'm pretty sure every single person who was in that show came up and got to talk to you. And I sat there and watched for a while, mostly because I wanted to introduce myself and ask you to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I didn't see you didn't hurry anybody. You spent time with these people. It felt like as much time as they wanted to spend with you, you gave them that time. And that's got to make people feel so very, very good. And what a great way, like you said, to keep a customer kind of for life by doing that
Well,
extra effort.
absolutely. I mean, I'm able to buy groceries. I'm able to pay my mortgage. I'm able to buy this company. I'm able to take MJ, with me and travel with him and buy food for him and provide for my family and all these things because of my audience. Without my audience buying tickets to my show every night, I cannot survive. They are my bread and butter. That my audience, and I respect them. And a lot of times people will come to the show and all they want is just a moment to be acknowledged because in entertainment, there is this star power. There's this, oh my gosh, this guy was on stage. I just want a photo. I want an autograph. I want a moment with you. And who am I to not give them that if they're providing me with all of these things? And
Yeah.
so I absolutely spend as much time as they want. And if they want to continue to talk to me and tell a story, and I'll have audience members say like, "Oh no, well, there are people waiting," and I said, "That's okay. Talk to me, tell me." And they'll have this moment with them, and then they leave. And when the audience who's waiting, because they're like, "Man, this is taking forever," the next audience member comes in to the meet and greet, and we have this conversation. Then all of a sudden they go, "Oh, this is why it takes so long." Is
Yeah.
because I'm actually talking with them and I put them first. And I have absolutely been charged extra money by venues for going over time because the meet and greets take so long. And when we're really busy in our peak season, the meet and greets sometimes will go over an hour. And so I
Yeah.
just did a 90-minute show, then the meet and greet another hour after that. And it's because so many people want that experience. And because I give them that experience, is exactly what you say, is they go, man, this is special. And I'm not just at that point, I'm not just a magician they saw. I'm a friend and they feel that way. So when they come to Tahoe, they go, we have to go see Alex, or you have to see my friend Alex. He's an amazing magician in Tahoe. Go see him. And and a lot of the reviews that I have hit on that point. And again, Stan, what's so fulfilling to me is hearing you recall and recount the experiences that you've had at my show because
Yeah.
all of those things are intentional. And it's nice to know that they're noticed.
Well, I want to give you another compliment, and this is just entrepreneur to
Thank you.
entrepreneur. And Carl, I think I may have shared this with you, but so Alex shows some of his merch and lets people know that they can buy it. But then he offers, I think it's a bag, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm?
He goes, guess what? I don't sell these. You can have these for free. All you got to do is show me or my assistant some, I don't know what the exact criteria was, but show me
Yeah.
that you're posting, that you're here, and that you like my show. I think that is just brilliant. I've had that idea for some other things as well, but giving people, I mean, social media is the best marketing there is right now, especially if it's
Yeah.
organic like that. But I want to commend you on coming up with an idea. I'll give you this for free. All I want you to do is tell people that you like the show.
Yeah.
And
Well, even
oh,
actually,
sure.
the reality is that they have to write a review and then like post on social media because I look at it from a business lens. I go, okay, well, I'm going to take out an ad buy, and my ad buy in the paper or radio or a billboard or Google ads, whatever. It's like I already have that, but this ad buy, and now I own the company, and the bags don't cost me but a few bucks each. That what am I buying? I'm buying the exposure on social media, Facebook or Instagram, and a review for $3 or whatever that is. That kind
Right.
of, well, I go, well, if I multiply that out and I say, okay, well, I'm going to hand out 200 bags. The cost of 200 bags is X amount of dollars, but I get 200 reviews and 200 posts. And it's like, even if I weren't pushing those reviews, I may not get that many reviews in that short amount of time. So it was an ad buy. It was like, so the money from for those bags came from the advertising budget. It
Yeah.
was like, I'm not selling this. This is an advertising, this is an ad buy to get these things. And that's why I looked at it in business sense. And the reality is I tell people, I go, write a review. And I want it to be a real review. I'm not saying if you didn't like the show, okay, that's fine. But I want you to write a review. And so it's not that I'm saying only give us a 5-star review. It's,
Right.
write a real review, whatever you thought of the show, and then post that you were here and then we'll give you these bags. And I got to tell you, it's very effective.
Yeah,
People,
it's
and
brilliant.
then,
I
well, some people may think that that might take away from your merch sales. And let me tell you, it doesn't.
now they got a bag to put your merchandise in.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. It doesn't. It doesn't. And I've actually done other pitches, and I'll show you this right here. I've also done giveaways with these MJ pins, and we've done these little gold MJ pins.
Mhm.
And we would give away these gold MJ pins, no cost, no cost. And it was just, hey, if you want a pin, there's a big jar of these pins, grab one. And it's like, pay whatever you can. If you have $5, drop $5. If you have $10, drop $10. If you have no bucks, just take a pin. Just take one. It's a gift from me to you. So you remember us here in Lake Tahoe and you spread the word. And so many, thousands of these pins have been handed out. And again, it's me giving to the audience because they're giving to me. And I think and I have people to this day that will show up at my shows and they have an MJ pin in their hat or in their beanie or on whatever. And these are fans that will be super fans for life. And I think that it's a special thing to have that connection with the audience so much that they want to be apostles and tell people like, go see Alex. And so I take it very seriously and I'm very, very grateful for it.
How did
Alex, what
I
do you
not
think?
get a pen?
I'll tell
I collect
you.
those, by the
You know
way,
why? You know
Alex.
why? Because actually we're out of them and we need to order more. That's why.
Oh, well, save
I
one
don't,
for me for next time.
unfortunately, my company doesn't make pins like this. So we have
Yeah.
to order these. If we did them in-house, I would have them today.
Well,
Yeah.
Carl knows this because wherever I've got this, it's right over here. You can't see it, but I've got this bulletin board of pins. So whenever I go to a show, or like when
Oh,
Carl and I went skiing, I wanted one of Kirkwood. And I kind of drove him nuts. I'm like, man, I got to go in here and see if they've got a pin. I collect those pins. So I'll get one
you
from
know
you next
what?
time I see you.
Email me your mailing address and I'll have Deanna send you out one because we do have like I
Uh,
think like 10 left.
you're
But
the
we're gonna
best.
order more. But yeah, so I'm happy to send you one.
It'll be
Alex, what
cherished.
what made you? Because it's unique. We talk about this a lot on the program, which is entertainers, athletes. They're reward, which you or life is provided by us as the consumer, right? We're watching your content, we're going to your show, we're buying your music, whatever it is. But what made that trigger on you early on and pattern that over these 20 years you've been doing this? Because that realization I don't think happens to every celebrity and every athlete. And you see all the times this like friction or this like don't bother me. And it's like, that's how you live, sucker. Well, and you realize that early on and live it out to wait around for an hour or two after these shows, after you poured out everything on the stage, and now you're again going to stay there and shake hands and kiss babies is unbelievable. And why doesn't everybody do it? And how did you learn to do that or realize to do that?
Um, I think that my core, at my core, my being is just full of gratitude. I am thankful and grateful for everything. Everything. This morning, I woke up, I opened my eyes. It's like, thank you. And I get to look out from my bed. I have a window and it's unobstructed, just the mountain with the snow on it, just beautiful in the trees. From my bed, as soon as I open my eyes, I see that, and I'm thankful. I'm grateful for it. This morning when I was driving to the shop, a car slid out, hit some ice, slid out. Luckily, no one was injured, but it was a one-car accident. He crashed into the side of the mountain, went into the other lane, spun around. I was right behind it, 40 feet away,
Oh,
brakes,
wow.
pulled over. Are you guys okay? I said, just be so thankful. Say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for being safe. And my core on everything is just gratitude. And I can't explain it other than that. I mean, I don't think that it was an intentional thought. I think that it was just I could identify it of just saying like, I'm so thankful for you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm grateful for this because of you, I can have all these opportunities. And I
Yeah.
think that's applicable for relationships and family and these people that I have a very good relationship with my parents, and I'm so thankful that I do. My dad has given me everything. He's given me, and I don't mean everything is in financial because we didn't grow up with anything. But it was like I was always grateful for everything that I did get. And my mom always gave me her attention. And it was just thankful for all of that. So I can't explain it any other way than that. Maybe that's not a great answer or something,
Attitude of gratitude.
but it
Yep, I love
was
it.
just that.
Well, listen, I want to be really respectful of your time, Alex. There's other things that I would love to talk to you about. But Carl, are you familiar with the Penn and Teller TV show? Fool Us?
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't watched every episode, but yeah, it intrigues
Okay.
me. Those guys intrigue me.
It it seems pretty rare from the times I've watched it for Penn and Teller to get fooled. But our
Yeah.
guest, Mr. Ramon, is the winner of a trophy from the Penn and Teller show. In fact, Alex, stand up again so that because this is the trick. This
Yeah,
is
so this is the trick. I'm going to stand the kind of weirdly here, but this is the original concept drawing. And so what it is it's a suspension type effect where all these objects are independent and on the stage. I grab them together and I construct this kind of the structure. And there's a ladder and there's a ball and there's a board and there's a tube and a chair and there's a dog food bag and then there's a broom and a street sign. And then MJ crawls on top of it. Okay. And so it feels very Rube Goldberg-esque. And so all of these are separate, independent items that you see me balance one on another. And then what happens is the first thing I remove is this tube. And I remove this tube, and this chair is still kicked back on its back legs. Then I remove this ball. And so then you see that there's no support holding that board up as the chair is also tipped back. And then the last thing I remove is this broom. And I remove this broom, and now MJ suspended out over the board, and the whole thing is just there intact. And then what I have MJ do is he jumps off of the board into my arms, and the whole structure collapses, showing that there's no support. And Penn and Teller, the game is they have to try and guess how it works, right? They didn't even guess. They just go, we don't know.
Yeah.
And I won the award and won the trophy. And MJ is the very first dog, I think the first and only dog to ever fool Penn and Teller. And so,
There you go, MJ.
yeah,
Well,
and it was really fun.
congratulations. That had to be just a spectacular feeling, and I hope that boosted your career accordingly.
I
That
when
is
I
so.
when I was with Penn and Teller, I actually told him I was wearing this shirt and I showed him. I go, look, I go, you know what? The best thing about winning this TV show is it gave me this shirt, and I've
Yeah.
sold thousands of these shirts. So
There
thank
you
you so
go.
much.
Cha-ching. I actually met Penn a zillion years ago. We were
Oh yeah.
both on an episode of Miami Vice.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, a long, long time ago. But yeah, that was many years ago. But listen, Alex, thank you so much, man,
Yeah.
for doing this. We do have a
Yeah.
couple quick things we got to run through. Carl, you want to do the
Right.
cars?
Sure, but before I do that, that'll be rapid fire. I am so intrigued that you said Cody Sanchez because she is on my dream list. Our friend Joe Haberstroh, who's been on an episode, he's a real estate guru, had
Yeah.
turned me on to her about 2 years ago. Her social media and her YouTube stuff. So
Yeah.
man, if you could connect us with her, and I'm just a big fan of her.
Cody. Oh,
Yeah.
Cody's turned into an amazing friend of mine. This is her book. I introed her at her book launch for Main Street Millionaire,
Oh
and
wow.
I just signed. Um, I can say this. I was like, can I say this? I just signed a 1 year contract with Contrarian Thinking, her company. So I host and MC all of her events. They fly me out to actually host and MC and speak at her events. And so yeah, I'll be at her. She has a no, I can't say that, but I'll be at a lot of her. It's not mine
Well,
to announce,
no, I
but
just I saw
she's
her.
amazing. And let me
Yeah,
tell you
I just
something,
saw her. Go ahead.
Cody. Let me tell you something about Cody. She is so genuine and real and is the real deal. She's not out here hustling ideas because she's trying to get people to join her program. She truly wants the best for everybody. And what that is freedom, is because true freedom is to have ownership. Because when you own something, you care. And when you care, you make your community, your city, your state, your country, the world a better place because you own. And only if you're an owner can you really have that desire to make things better. And so she is. And let me tell you, backstage at her events, she's on stage. I'm emceeing the event. I'm introing her, introing other people. We're working this event in front of 1,000 people, okay, in Austin. It was in Austin. And
Oh,
then backstage, after she just does her keynote presentation, I'm emceeing. We go backstage and she goes, Alex, how's business? What can we do to make you more money? What can we do to support your business? That's how real and genuine Cody is. And I'm so happy to say that, one, she was a mentor of mine, unknowingly turned into a mentor of mine. I told her that. And also, she's become a great friend, but she's the real deal. And if you want to learn anything about business acquisition, you go to Contrarian Thinking and you talk with everyone there, and she put together this community that really makes differences, and it changed my life because I would not have bought Innovative Imprints without
right.
Contrarian Thinking. So big ups
Well,
and
we
shout
do
outs.
need a guest for our 100th episode. So
Ooh.
Okay. Well,
maybe
I'll
we can
think
reach
of that.
out. All right, Carl, go ahead with the questions. I want to be real respectful of Alex's time. We've already
Yes.
had him here for a long time. So go ahead.
So, Alex, what this program started is was birthed out of COVID and just creative outlets and loneliness and all the rest of it. But then
Yeah.
Stan came aboard literally last January 1st, so a year ago in a couple days, and we said this: we know cars, we know the automobile industry, what drives you, pun intended. And then we're like, well, wait a minute, we need to turn this into like what drives you in life. So a lot of what Cody preaches, like what gets you up in the morning, what motivates you, what inspires you. So that's what this turned into. But we still keep this little segment of cars, right? Which is what I'm about to ask you. So tell us about your first car. What was the first car you owned?
1999 silver Honda Civic DX hatchback. I bought it with cash from independent seller, and my mom found it, and she showed me, "Hey, I think this car would be good for you." I was 17. I was 17 years old, and I looked at it and I go, "Hatchback? That's not cool, you know." And then I ended up buying the car from money that I made doing magic shows. and I loved it. And always want a hatchback. Hatchbacks are so much better than sedans, and I love hatchbacks over trunks. It's like I'm a hatchback guy. So that was
All
my very
right.
first car. And actually, I have a story. That's so funny. I have a story about it that is part of my keynotes, and it's kind of like what happened with this car because it was totaled.
Mm.
And I mean, I was safe. It was okay, but we did get in an accident and it was totaled and it was unfortunate. And I actually, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, I was looking on like Auto Trader. I was looking online and I'm like, if I could find like a 1999 Honda Civic hatchback, I would pay probably an unreasonable amount of money if it had under 100,000 miles. If it had under 100,000 miles, and I'm like looking for this Honda Civic. And I go, because I know it works. It worked. Nothing was automatic. You had to roll the window, you had to do, but
Yeah.
I love that car. So if anybody is watching has a 99 Honda Civic hatchback under 100,000 miles, you could probably get a pretty good fee from me. So, you know.
A
There you
good one.
go.
We've had a few Honda Civics, so but not the hatchback. So that was a good one. So what was your favorite car of all the cars you've owned?
Favorite car, I would say, it
Maybe you
sounds
just
so
said it.
silly. The I think it was because it's your first experience with freedom that the memories I have and the nostalgia I have of just driving my car as a teenager, going to Vegas, doing shows, having music on. I could put in my own CD and just windows down. And my window was down, but then my passenger window, I had to lean across and then, roll that one down. That took a little more effort than it does today. So I would have to go back and say favorite car, 99 Honda Civic hatchback.
Easy. All right. Well,
That's
what's
His answer for the third one might be the same. We
I,
don't
I
know
don't think
yet.
well, maybe not. So the last one, no, there's no budget, there's no skies, whatever. And again, we've had some interesting responses on this one because a lot of them have been more practical than we think. But
oh,
no budget, dream car, what would you buy?
easy. Porsche 959.
Hmm.
Only 200 were ever made. And at the time when they first came out in the 80s, it was the fastest 0 to 60 car ever that was street. That wasn't a race car, right?
Right.
And now, obviously, with modern, 30, 40 years later, they can beat that speed. But there was only 200 ever made. I know Seinfeld has one or two, Leno has one or two. They go on average for a mil. A lot of times, I think the highest someone ever paid for one of them was maybe around 2 mil. They're very, very difficult to get because obviously all collectors have them, and no one wants to drive them. But Porsche 959, and the reason is because when I was a kid, I had this exotic car folder and calendar. And it would
Mm.
go through the calendar and it would tell you all these facts. And the reason why I can remember these facts is because I read that. And I just like the idea that only 200 were ever made. And I go, only
Yeah.
200 were ever made. Like that makes it so much better. So I appreciated the rule of supply and demand early on as a kid. So
Yeah.
that became my dream car. And maybe one
Nice.
day I'll have to sell a few more tickets and a few more t-shirts. But
I was
Porsche,
just going to say the same thing. Get to selling some more t-shirts,
I
and
got,
we'll get on it.
hey,
All right.
everybody, I need a lot of people to buy some more t-shirts to afford that car.
All right. So the last thing, Alex, is we call this our wow, our words of wisdom. Maybe it's just something, a saying that you live by that you'd like to share with people. Sometimes we ask people, if you were talking to an 18-year-old Alex, what do you wish you knew then? It's, some words of wisdom to wrap things up.
I close all of my keynote speeches with this same phrase or this same thought. And if it was a kind of motto or something that I live by, it's this, is if you wake up every day thinking the greatest thing that you are going to accomplish in life, you haven't even done yet. You wake up with excitement, with enthusiasm, with a purpose. And it makes me think even I feel very blessed for having the life that I've had and the things that I've been able to do. But I know I still haven't even done the greatest thing. And that gets me excited. And it makes me feel like wow, what else can I do? What sort of impact can I have on the world and other people? And I think that's a message that people need to hear. And some contrarian thinking is that I think that adults need encouragement more than kids. And we
Mm,
always focus on the kids, and that's great. But adults have real responsibilities, real pressures, real moments in their life where you need someone to say, hey, you know what? Keep going. You got this. You can do
It's
it.
hope, right? Hope.
The greatest thing that you're going to do, you haven't even done yet.
yeah,
That
that's
makes me
awesome.
excited. And that's something that I live by. And I hope that people can hear that and it resonates with them so then they can go and fulfill their greatest potential, knowing that the best is yet to come.
Love it. Alex, thank you, man, so much.
Thank you.
So gracious of you to take your time to do this with us. Appreciate you very much. Carl, it's always great to see you, my friend. Thanks everyone for watching this edition of What Drives You, and remember, be good humans.